Yes, those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, and also to those of you guys who are coming back, you are now welcome with us. I trust that you are going to enjoy your time with us and are going to learn. I'm going to ask all of you guys to mute your mics until such time that you want to speak. If you can please just mute your mic. Thank you very much. My name is Afikile Sikwebo, Mr. Afikile Sikwebo, and I am a teacher in Gqeberha. I teach at a high school, I teach digital technologies, and I also teach computer applications technologies. And today's lesson will be about making games with MsZora. Now, some of you guys will not, I hope that you have already registered in MsZora, and we are going to ask that if you haven't registered with MsZora, you do so. Please switch off your mics, please. Okay. So I'm going to ask all of you guys to make sure that you have registered on MsZora. And if you haven't, you can please do so after this lesson. If you haven't, you must just, we will put this video also online on YouTube, on our channel, and you can watch it later on. All right. So today I want to also remind you guys about our competition, the Afronovate competition. For those of you guys who had registered a team and registered yourselves, we encourage you guys to make your projects. There are some cool prizes to be won. There's laptops and microbits. There's Arduinos and Raspberry Pis to be won, some fantastic prizes. I wish I could enter and win myself something. So please enter that competition, create a project, and we will give you a link. I think towards the end of the week, you can then put your project in there. We are going to start taking projects in on Friday, Saturday, all the way till Monday. And we are going to accept projects that you guys will have designed. So please enter that competition if you have registered. All right, you can do so. You can check for more information on africateamgeeks.co.za/upcoming events. You can have some more information from there. And there you will find our YouTube channel, and you can catch all the other videos that you will have missed. If there's anything that you don't understand in today's video also, and you can go to the channel, you will find it posted up there. All right. So as I said, project submission starts on the 30th of April to the 3rd of May. So yesterday, as a form of a recap, a short recap, we basically did two things. We looked at how we can make our characters or our sprites talk in MsZora. We had two sprites and they were having a conversation, and we showed each other how is it that one sprite or one character can know when the other character has stopped talking, and then he can have his own turn. So that is what we did yesterday. And we also, while we were using sprites, we actually just had two sprites talking to one another. And the entire activity was on telling some stories. So we had a back and forth conversation to see how that can happen. All right, today what we're going to look at, we'll look at two things. We want to look at how to repeat algorithms in MsZora. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we said that an algorithm is it's a step-by-step way of telling a computer how to solve a problem. So a computer has, or you have a problem, and you want a computer to solve this problem for you. So an algorithm is the way that you teach this computer how to solve this problem for you. So you tell it one step at a time, what it must do after one step, what it must do after that step. And so that is what we are going to do today. We are going to look at how how then can we look at an algorithm and how can we make a computer go over this algorithm over and over and over again? And then we are also going to see how can we make decisions in coding. All right. So let me stop sharing that screen and we can get coding. All right. So what I'm going to do is close all of these and open a fresh new one. And I'm going to share the screen quickly. If I can find the screen to share. It is, okay, this one. All right. Let me end here. Let me close this one. All right. Can you guys see my browser? All right. Let me share again. Let me share. Where's my browser? Okay, here's my browser. Let me share this one. All right. Can you all see my browser? Simpiwe, just unmute yourself. If you can you see my browser?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So all of you must have your browser open, and on your excuse me, on your web browser, you are going to start typing MsZora, MsZora.co.za, MsZora.co.za. For those of you guys who are joining us for the first time, you are going to type, or you are going to click on sign up, and you are going to fill in this sign up form, and you are going to create an account. But because we have already started, please do it after the session. What you can do is watch with us so you understand what is going on. And then at the end of the session, you can do the video. We'll upload it on YouTube, then you can do the video. And perhaps maybe you can start watching the video from Monday, yesterday's video and today's. So you are going to sign up and just ask your parents for their email address if you can use it, and you will then be registered. And when you return tomorrow, you are going to log in. And for everybody else who is coming for the second time or for the third time, you are going to click on log in and use the username that you selected when you registered. Use your username and your password. You will then be brought to your dashboard. This is your dashboard, which is going to show you what you can still do. And we want to select MsZora blocks. Okay, so we selected MsZora blocks. What's going to show now is it's going to show you your projects that you have created on MsZora. So say taking some time. Okay. Let me just refresh quickly. Okay, I'm not sure whether it's my internet now or what's going on. Okay, it is taking me a few seconds. All right, so this is taking some time. Has everybody opened their MsZora blocks yet? Megan says it's almost night in Australia. All right, so what I'm going to use an alternative. I'm going to use a different software for now. I'm not sure, perhaps my internet is playing tricks on me. So I'm going to use an alternative, but please keep using MsZora. It will be the same. It may have, the blocks might look differently, but it will do the same thing. So I'm going to, let me unshare that screen and share another one, which we are going to use today. I'm so sorry, ladies and gents, about that. I'm not sure, maybe my internet is playing tricks on me today. Okay, so let me share here. All right, so we are going to build or make a game today. And I'm going to use this software, which is very similar to what you guys are using. And our game is going to be very simple. At the same time, it's going to not be simple. It is going to need you to exercise on your reflexes as you play it, all right? So we basically have a ball. So we have a ball, and when you touch this ball, it's going to disappear and appear in a different place. And we, at the end, what I would like then for you to do when you can make this ball appear and reappear, I would like you to to edit the game, and you set booby traps for whoever is going to play, because it can get boring after some time if all you do is to try to catch these balls. So we are going to have this ball appearing, disappearing, depending on what you will code today. So we are going to do quite a few things. And I hope that you are going to put your caps on, your coding caps on, and you will have fun with me. All right. So for the folk that are joining us for the first time, we said we have different places in our MsZora. On the left panel, we have our coding blocks. So this is where we are going to get all our code from. We have coding blocks such as motion, we have looks, we have sound, and we have other coding blocks as well. We also have backdrops, which we are not going to use today. We also have sounds. You can record your own sounds as well. So we are not going to use these two today. So we use these coding blocks to get our code. We are going to then drag and drop our code on this coding palette here, or this coding area, or the scripts area. We are going to drop them here. So whatever is on this section right here is going to be played on here. So this is where our sprites, or our characters, which we call sprites, are going to be at. So we are going to see them on that section, or at that, or in that section. All right. So I'm going to show you guys how to save your work. Don't stress about that. I'll show you how to save your work. And we also have this section on the bottom right here, which you can use to select your backdrops, which is your background, and also select a sprite, or a character, which we call a sprite. Now, in MsZora, you also have here where you will see it says Scratch project. So we are going to remove that name, that file name. It's going to be how you save your work. So we are going to say disappearing balls. So you can give your project a name. It doesn't matter what name that you want to give. It is up to you. And if you click on File on MsZora, I think you have 3 options. You have the first option, which I have now forgotten because I'm not looking at it. You have this, I think it's load from computer, it's download, and save to cloud. So once you save to cloud, it is going to save it on your dashboard. So click on save to cloud. It's going to save it as disappearing ball or whatever file name you have selected, and it's going to save it to your dashboard. So whenever you come back, you are going to see it on your dashboard, and you will take it from there. And you can also download that project. And if you want that, if let's say you want to send that project to a friend of yours, or you want to send it on Friday as your project that you are entering for the competition, you can download that project. So that is just a few basic things that we needed just to do. All right, so let's get coding. So I need a sprite. So I'm going to come to this icon here, choose a sprite. I've chosen, I'm going to choose a baseball because I don't play baseball. I'm going to select a baseball. And now I have a baseball. Okay, I hope that we all have a baseball. And after this baseball, I'm going to select a backdrop. Let me select a backdrop. I'm going to select a backdrop called stars. You can select any backdrop of your choice. You can select any one that you like. I just like this one, so I'm going to select that one. And finally, I'm going to make my ball slightly smaller. So I'm going to go to size and click on size and make the size a bit, just a tad bit smaller. All right. So now that I have that, I hope that you guys have it as well. So the first thing that I want to do, you will see that we have this flag and we have this stop button right here. And we have also these buttons up here. What you can do if you want to see your project in full screen, you can click on those 4 arrows there and your project is going to be in full screen. And if you want to see a smaller, this section a bit smaller, you can do it like so. Or if you want to restore it, you can do it like so. Okay, so that is what those icons are there for. Now, this flag, you are going to see how we are going to use it. Now, we said we have some code that we can use. So we are going to look at some code. So we want something to happen when we click this flag, which is called go. When we click this flag, we want something to happen to this ball. So we are now going to write the code to make that thing happen to this ball. So whenever we click the flag, something must happen to that ball. All right. Simpiwe, do you have a question on something?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. So first things first, we come to events. Can you see that we have motion, looks, sound, and we have events? So we want to take this code called events. Oh, sorry. This code called when flag is clicked. When flag is clicked. When you click this flag, what must happen? All right. So what must happen? And this is what we are now going to do. You will remember we said we are going to use loops today. We are going to make decisions, and we are also going to make variables. All right. So what must happen? We then want to say this ball must be shown. All right. So when the ball starts, we are going to make the ball disappear. So by clicking on this unhide or hide, so it's unhide and this one is hide. So we are going to click on hide. So the first thing is that when we click the flag, the ball must show. So we go to looks. In looks, we are going to find a code called show. All right. So the first thing that must happen is that this code must show. All right. So if I click the flag now, or if I click this flag, you'll see that the ball starts showing. Right. So let me hide it again. And that is done. It shows the ball. All right. So, and what I want to do is to say now that the ball is showing, I must quickly go and touch this ball for me to score. So I must quickly go and touch the ball, and it's going to score for me, right? So whenever I touch the ball, it's going to give me a score. So now what I want to do is for the computer to make a decision to always be asking itself, has Mr. Sir touched the ball? If the answer is yes, then it is going to give me a score. If the answer is no, then it must take down, it must minus my score by 1, all right? So we have a code that can help us to do that or to make decisions. We come to control. We now want to ask a question. Has Mr. Sir touched the ball? In order to do that, we have a code called if. We also have another code block called if, then, else. So we have if, then, if you see, and we have if, then, else, which is a bit different to this one. So this one says, if something happens, then do something else. But this one says, if something happens, do something. If else, if nothing happens, do something else, all right? So we are going to select this one. If I touch the ball, then give me 1 point. If I didn't touch the ball, just take 1 point from me, all right? So we put this code in there. Now we have, when the flag is clicked, show the ball. If what, then what? So we want a code that's going to tell the computer what to look out for. So we come now, I know we are going back and forth, to sensing. We want a way for the computer to sense what we have done. So we'll take sensing and we'll say, if the ball is touching the mouse pointer like this. So if the ball is touching the mouse pointer, then what must you do? Then play a sound. If you go to sounds, not looks, sounds. I'm going to say play the sound pop. Okay, so nothing happens. If I press there, you see nothing happens still. Okay, so nothing is happening. I'm pressing the flag, nothing is happening, all right? So we are going to see why nothing is happening shortly. So we say if I'm touching mouse pointer then start the sound, it doesn't start the sound. Why is that so? It's so because we need a way for this code to be running all the time. For now, you will see that when I click this flag or click this one, this entire code or this entire algorithm is going to be highlighted yellow. Can you see? It highlights yellow and then it disappears. When it highlights yellow, it means that my code has started. When it stops highlighting yellow, it means my code has finished running. My algorithm has finished its course. So we need a way for this algorithm to run all the time. And that is where now loops come in. So a loop is a way of repeating code, doing code all of the time. So we go back to control. And because we want this code to run all the time, we don't want this code to stop, we are going to use, we have different loops here. We have a repeat. We can repeat it 1,000,000 times. After 1,000,000 times, it's going to stop working. We also have forever. We can repeat it. We can just keep repeating it. We also have repeat until, which will repeat it until something happens, until a condition is met. So you will see that all your loops, they have an arrow like this at the bottom. They have this arrow, and I'm going to show you what that arrow does. So now we can take this forever and join it to our code. So to make it easier for you, I will then say take forever and put it on your coding blocks, on your coding area, and take this if from this if block, and you put it inside your forever. Now, if you've made a mistake perhaps and placed this if, let's say you place this if at the top of forever, you will see you can't undo it this way. What you need to do is to come and drag forever out and then do it again. All right. Otherwise, what you can do is to take this forever and you will put it in like so, and that code will be joined together. Now, if we look at our code, if we run it, now you will see that it remains highlighted. So what happens when the flag is clicked, it's going to show it's going to show the ball. And now this code is going to run forever. This one is only going to run once. Let's see if I hide it. When I click the flag, it only runs this code once. So it then goes into forever. And it says, if touching the mouse pointer, then the computer asks itself, is the ball touching the mouse pointer? And the answer is no. Then it goes out. It doesn't do this code. It goes to the else. It doesn't find anything. It then goes to the arrow. The arrow says, well, go to the beginning. And the beginning is right here. It is not here anymore. It is right at the beginning of forever. It goes in. Are you touching the mouse pointer? No. It doesn't go here. It goes into else. It doesn't find anything in else. It goes out. It goes back. It asks the same question over and over and over and over again. And look, if I touch the ball, it makes a sound. Because now it says, is he touching the ball? Is he touching the ball, the mouse pointer? The answer is yes. Then it makes the sound. It goes out. It doesn't come to else because it has already it has found a condition that is true. It doesn't go out. It goes out. It goes back. It goes out to the arrow. The arrow says go back to the top and check again. Yes. It goes out. Check again. Yes. Yes. Okay. So you will see that is how forever works. It keeps repeating the code that is inside the forever. It keeps doing it over and over again. All right. So that is that section. Now, when it's played the sound, we wanted to play the sound, and let me see if I choose a different one, if it's still going to do this. Okay, that's fine. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to remove yours. I just want to test something. So now if touching pointer, then play sound, we then also want something else to happen. We would like to keep a, okay, no, before we keep a score, we want the ball to disappear and go to a different place. All right. So we want the ball, when I've touched it, we want the ball to move from here and it must appear at another place. So let's look for a code that can help us to do that. If we want whenever we want something in our MsZora to move, we have this coding block called motion. Those coding scripts called motion. And so anything that has to do with movement, we are going to find in motion. So we go to motion and we look, there's move 10 steps. Move 10 steps is going to move it forward. If we say it must change 90 degrees, it's just going to change it by the degrees that is here. We don't want that. We have go to random position. Oh, okay. So we have one called go to random position. So let's see what it will do for us. So now we have go to random position. And it is only going to go to a random position if we have touched it with our mouse pointer. If we haven't touched it with our mouse pointer, it's just going to sit there. So let's see now. Okay. Now, for those of us who are joining us for the first time, you will see that whenever I touch this ball, there are these numbers. There's these two numbers here, this X and this Y. You will see that whenever I touch it, they also change, which then says to me that each area here on this play area, it has a value that is attached to that area or to that section. So for now, it is on the x-axis. On the straight, it is on 154, and on the is vertical and horizontal. Ne? So on the vertical, it is on 92. On the horizontal, it is at 154. So whenever we touch it, it is going to a different place altogether. All right. So now the code is working. All right. It's working now. So it goes to a random position, but we want then to first, before it goes to a random position, we want to hide it. Okay. We want to hide it, and then it can go to a random position. So we are going to hide it. So now if we play, it's gone. Now, and it's still at a random position. Okay, I touched it by mistake. So it is at X minus 176. So you can still see that it's there. So let me see where it is. Okay, it's there. It's there. Now we want to find a way that can make our ball to reappear. Now that it's gone, we need to get it back. So we need another way to get it back. We need to show it. So inside the forever at the beginning, we are going to say, after you've hidden yourself, show yourself again. Okay? Which doesn't do much. If we were to put a timer here to say hide yourself for 3 seconds, you would see the difference. So I want you on yours, put a timer there and see how that will change your game. So you can put a timer by going to control and wait the number of seconds that you want. All right. So that is that. And then what is going to happen, we want it to wait half a second. It must wait half a second, 0.5, and it must go and reappear again. So you see, okay, well, I've done what I said you must do on your own. All right, so it's going to wait half a second, and then it's going to appear at a different place. Then what else can we do? Because we have this else that we have not used. But before we do that, we now want to have a variable. We want to keep a score. Whenever we touch the ball, we want to keep a score of how many times you have touched the ball. So to do that, we are going to have a variable. Now we go to variables, and as I explain a variable becomes a container. So let's say that you want to keep a list of, or you want to have names, all right? Not a list of names, you want to have names. And you want your computer to remember a name of somebody. So you take a name and you write it on a piece of paper, and you have a container, and you put this name inside this container. You take this piece of paper and you put it inside this container. Whenever you want to use that name, you don't have to remember the name. All you need to do is to just go into the container and take the piece of paper and read out the name. So that is what a variable is going to be for us. It is going to be that container that we can put things that we want to remember inside. So whenever we want to remember things, we just put them inside that container. All right. So we are going to have a container, and we are going to make a new variable, or make a variable. We are going to call this variable score. Okay. So you will see that the score starts with a small letter S, and it just becomes all small letters. If we were using a different way to say keep score, we would do keep small letters and then capital S, COPE, which is called camel casing. Just a nice way in programming to name variables. So whenever you're naming a variable, you start with a small letter, and then the second word, if it has 2 words, you don't put a space in between. The second word must start with a capital letter to show that it's a different word. You don't put a space. You can put an underscore. You can put that. It is going to be, so long as there's no space, it is going to qualify as a variable. And also make sure that your variables have meaningful names. So you don't want to have a variable called hair, H-A-I-R, hair, but you are keeping a score. How are you going to remember what that variable does? So we have one called, I'm going to just call it score, so that I know it is keeping my score. And then I press OK. And if I made a mistake, like I said scope, I can just right click on it and say rename this variable. So then I can rename it. Right now that you will see this appears on the score appears on my game. But now we need a way to use the score. So what we will do is that when you click the flag, you show the ball, you forever show the ball. If it's touching the mouse pointer, you must play the sound, and you must change the variable by 1 and insert this inside here. You drag it right here and change the score variable. So change score by 1. But then again, also, you want to set score. You want to set score to 0. So the first time that this score shows, the first time that the game starts, when I click the flag, set the score to 0. So you will see, even if 0, let's say the score was 55. When I click the flag, it's going to be 0 because I have said set the score to 0 whenever I start the game, set the score to 0. Then it's going to show the ball. It's going to go into the loop. If it's touching the mouse pointer, then it's going to play the sound. It's going to play the sound, and it's going to increase my score. You see, it's going to increase my score. Every time I click the ball, it increases my score. It goes to a random position. It quickly hides the ball. It waits for half a second, and then it shows it again. Okay, sorry, it hides it, waits for half a second, it shows it again here. Now, if I said it must wait for 1 second, it's going to count 1 second and show it again. Now, with all of this, I'm going to say else. You have an else here. Else change score by -1. So change score by -1. So if I don't, you will see now it starts counting because I'm not touching the ball. So whenever I'm not touching the ball, it's going to change the score by -1. But I will never defeat this game because it is too quick for me. All right. So we need a way for the game to wait for us, at least to respond. So I'm going to go back to my time to control. I'm going to say to the ball, it must wait for me. First, it must wait for me. Before it starts counting me down, it must wait for me for half a second. Then it can count me down. So okay, yeah, I'm sure you can see that I possibly won't win against this guy. All right. So if it's too quick, you can change the timer. Okay, it's still too quick for me. So what you can do is to play around with your timer and see how it will then change your game. All right, so we have used the loop, we have used a decision. We can make a decision now, and we can also play sound until it's done. And we can go to a random position. So I will let you make that decision, what to play around with the time until your game becomes perfect for you to play. Perhaps you can ask your brother or sister or your siblings to play with you, and then you can take it from there. All right, so we have done loops, we have done an if statement. Maybe just to add something that you can use for the future, you can have a booby trap for your game that if maybe the score reaches or if the score, let's say you start playing and the score goes back and it gets to 0, you can have either your game going game over, or you can have other things appearing. You can even have other booby traps. Let's say you insert an apple, all right, and you make this apple look like your ball, and when a person touches this apple, it minuses it, or it deducts 1 from that from that player's score. You can do that, and how we said you can copy this code, you can just drag this code and drag it over the apple. Now Apple will also inherit that code. So now if I touch this apple, you can then change the code here. You can change the code and say, if this apple is touched, so if it's touching the mouse pointer, we can use a different sound. Let's say chomp. You see? All right. So then whenever you touch that apple, let's say you take the score, you make it -1. So if a person touches that apple by mistake, the score is immediately changed by -1. And if I don't touch that apple, just don't do anything. So you would then have to come here and edit this code like so. I'm just showing you something that you can do now if you wanted to. And instead of having an if then, you have an if without the then. You take this code, you place it inside the if then, you take that code, you place it there, and you throw that one away. Now you place it back in your forever. So now instead of checking the then, it only checks if it's touching the mouse pointer. And if it touches the mouse pointer, it changes the score by -1. All right. So that is something that you can do. So what I'm going to do now, we are 2 minutes early. I'm going to take some questions. If there are people who have questions on what we have been doing. So if you have questions, you are free to ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question now. You can raise your hand if you have a question. No one has a question yet? Okay. So everybody is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
So is there a way you can duplicate a code into another sprite?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, if I can get to my... Okay, so what we do, we have this code. Let's put a new sprite, and let's put a basketball down. And let's imagine that we wanted to duplicate this code into here. You will then drag it over only to this one that you want. You'll see that, you see it highlights all of them. But now if I drag it on top of the basketball, it will then be copied onto that sprite as well.
First, we sign up on Google.
No, you sign up on MsZora. .co.za. Not on Google. All right. So those of you guys who say I am breaking up, please just check your Wi-Fi. It might be on yours. All right. The glitch might be on your side. All right. Anyone has any other question? No one. Okay, yes. Anytime. You can unmute yourself.
Can we download MsZora app?
No, sir. You can't download it. You have to use it online.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wait, remember, cookie work that.
Okay. No questions at all? I finished so early today, hoping that there will be questions. Okay, so let me go on then and do just one last thing and then. Okay, Megan, yes. Yes, Megan. You can talk, Megan.
Okay, so I just wanna ask can you put like music in the background?
I can't hear you.
So,
Yes.
can you put music in the background if you want to?
Yes, certainly you can. Okay, Alex, I'll be with you just now. Certainly you can. I just don't have any music on on my laptop, but I will show you how you can do that. So you have sounds. So you have these sounds here, and you can insert sounds that are by default on the on MsZora. Otherwise, you can come to that icon at the bottom left where that it says choose a sound. Now you can choose a sound, you can record your own sound. So if I press record, it's going to record my voice, and I can press stop recording, and I can cut the voice wherever I want it. So I can play, press record, it's going to record my voice. Okay, then you can save that sound and use it in your project. Otherwise, you can click upload sound. Unfortunately, I don't have music on my laptop at all. I have no music. I don't have anything. I don't listen to music. I hardly listen to music. So you can upload it and use it in your project. I've had projects where I've used sound or music before. Yes, certainly you can. So you come to this icon. First of all, you go to sounds, you go to this icon, and how you would then upload sound. How you would then use your sound, I will demonstrate. If I press record, if I record my voice, I'm here recording my voice and I want to use this in my project. I'm going to stop recording now, and then I'm going to save it. And let me, now it is recording number 1. If I come to this code and I say play sound, if I say play sound, it's going to say play pop basket bounce, or recording 1. Now let's see how it works. My voice. I'm here recording my voice and I want to use this in my project. I'm going to stop recording. All right. So, but if you wanted, let's say you wanted this sound to start working when you play your project, then you would take the sound and place it right at the top so that when you click the flag, the song starts working immediately. All right. So I hope I've answered your question. Alex?
So can I also ask my cousins to play the game?
Yes, sir, you can ask them to do that.
Thank you, sir, because I have no
You're welcome.
siblings.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. My daughter has no siblings also. Her cousins are here. That's why they're making so much noise now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have 2 minutes. We can take one more question. Okay, we have 4 minutes. Okay, any question?
So I'm unable to save my project.
You unable to?
I'm unable to save my project.
All right. So let me see if I. Okay, no. So can you see where it says file?
Yes.
Okay. File. Click file, and then can you see where it says save to cloud?
It's not giving me that option.
Sorry.
It is not giving me that option.
What does it show when you say save? When you say file?
It just says it says load from your computer or download.
Okay, so it only says local computer or download. Okay,
Yes.
just download for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay then. Yes. So Nuria asks if I can just tell you guys about the competition. So I've told you there's a competition, a front of 8 competition, and you guys had some time to register for that competition. If you have registered, you can make a team of 1 to 5 people. You cannot be more than 5 in your team. You come up with a project, and it can be a project that can help your school make things easier. Come up with a project. You will then upload this project from Friday all the way till Monday. You have those 4 days to upload the project. And there's a panel of judges which will select the best project, so to speak, according to some criteria that they have set. So if you win that competition, you will win for yourself some very, very awesome prizes. So unfortunately, the registrations have closed for that project. And yeah, so that is that about it. But we have come to the end of the lesson. Thank you so much for joining me this morning and learning. I hope that you've learned something from me. And tomorrow we will continue with our lesson and we will do something else. We did storytelling yesterday. We did game design today, and we will see each other tomorrow once again. So ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining me. Have a lovely day further.